Oh, this is looking good, ladies. It's just me with you all. How lucky are you all? Hey? Okay, maybe it's me that's the lucky one. So, fantastic. So, how are we all feeling?
Good.
Thumbs up. Fantastic. So Veronica, Lisa, Kate, were on the previous call. I know that Sasha was watching, and Diane said she was watching. Susanna was on as well. So we covered, just to give you all an idea, what we did was we covered desire. We got clear on, well, we just communicated around it. Some of us shared what our desire is, and we're basically going to evolve on it now from where we were. So the focus of what I wanted to do with the earlier call, the public call, was really just connect with some people, let them see the value of what this is about, and maybe give them the inspiration, the confidence to go and create their own desire. Whether they choose to join us further in regards to becoming a Gold Star or a Vault member is up to them. But what we're focused on right now for us who are on the call is to get clear on what it is that our desire is. And anybody who's struggling, who may be challenged with the reverse engineering it, we'll look at maybe masterminding around that. So does anybody, and if you can just show your hand, does anybody not know what reverse engineering is? Okay, so Natasha, you're not aware of it. Okay. Easiest way to think of it, Natasha, and anyone can step in here. I mean, there's some coaches here who know more than me around this, but the easiest way to think of it, you put the destination you want to go in the GPS. The GPS reverse engineers, this is the road you need to take first of all. This is the first step. So what the focus is to take it back into smaller steps. You know where you want to go. Let's go back and reverse engineer the whole process. Does that make sense? If anybody wants to jump in and share and expand on anything, please feel free to do so. Okay, because I don't claim to know it all, almost. Left a bit of room. So that's what we're going to focus on. So, is there anybody here who would like to start off the call by sharing what their desire is? Okay, and when I'm saying your desire, unless you're reading it every morning and every night, and you know it off by heart what you would read, then please read what you've written down as your statement, as Napoleon said. So, is there anybody here who would like to share theirs? Okay, no, that's fine. Now, oh, sorry, Diane.
My question is this around like our long-term desire, or is this just based on what we're desiring to the end of the year?
Correct. What we're desiring to the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had originally written mine as to the end of next year sort of thing, but I have just done a little, because I sort of picked up on your last call that's sort of, I think, where you were talking. Yeah. So I've just kind of quickly roughed something up, on what is freely coming through for me. So I'm happy to talk about that if you want to.
Okay, well, I'll come back and you can start off, but I just want to expand on why I chose the end of the year. And the reason why I chose just for the next 5 months was to give some people a starting point, to not overwhelm them with the 12 months, to just say, look, we've got 5 months, and we all know that the focus is at the new year, new you. So what do you want to create? And that could be something as simple as, and I really don't mean anything disrespectfully if this is your desire, but something as simple as join the vault, become a Gold Star. And congratulations, by the way, to Lynette, who just became a Gold Star before the call. Good work, Lynette. Well done. Very proud of you, and I truly do mean that. But the focus is just getting people started, because when we start to look at the desire, we start to get bigger. And Napoleon spoke about, and I've forgotten his name, but he created the Combined Insurance of America, or a Combined of American Insurance Company. And it was his 20 to 25-year vision. When Andrew Carnegie spoke to Napoleon and said about this is going to take at least 20 years. I think of the power of the desire. So if we can start with something small, we can start to help people amplify and get bigger and bigger and go beyond. So sorry to interrupt you there, Diane.
No, that's perfectly fine. So my desire for by the end of this year is that I will be earning a minimum of 3,000 profit per month through my new partnership with Jackie, starting with our hemp products. So that's exciting. This will allow me to reduce my days of my paid work next year to 3 days a week. So I'll have 2 more days that I can devote to my growth and to growing our businesses. I will have completed my nutrition course, continuing to get the high marks that I'm currently receiving. I will have created a course and presentation around this training, which I intend to run information sessions in person and on Zoom to people who would like to improve their health and to know why they should make changes. I will have created a food diary that will include our emotional state throughout the day. This will help me better support people in changing their habits and show them why they do what they do. I will have finished interviewing my Nana on her life experiences so that I can create a book for the family and use the information to assist me in helping others. And I will have started my dad's story because he is definitely drumming it into me at the moment. Every reading I'm getting, he's like, my book. So, and funny enough, my mum happened to find, I was saying to Mum, Dad keeps talking about a book and I don't know what he's on about because I know he didn't write one. And just yesterday morning, she was sorting through some stuff at home, at her house, and she found Dad had printed off it's a writing format, so how to write the stories and stuff. And she went to put it away and she got told, no, leave it out. And she's like, why would I leave it out, you know? And then I'm saying this to her about Dad's book, and she goes, oh, bloody hell, goes out, gets it, gives me, write his damn book. You told him you'd write his book, write his book. So I'm going to get started. I'm not going to get it finished, but I will get it started by the end of the year. I have grown so much in the past 6 months, and I'm looking forward to this continuing in the next 5.5 months. To keep this momentum going, I will actively be using the abundance game to ensure that I stay on my path. I will continue to use the amazing value that is in the vault and the masterminds to improve my personal development and shift my paradigms.
Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Not that you needed any confirmation from me, but you've given me some ideas there as well around things that I feel I'm missing in mind. So thank you, Diane. That was
amazing. Great.
Yeah. Does anybody got any feedback around Diane? Do you feel inspired? Is there areas like where I said, I never thought about that? For instance, the abundance game. Yes, Antje.
I want to be part of this. I want to be on that train. Yeah. I think it was very inspiring. And I just, when Martin says, the end of the year, I thought, because I pushed it till the end of February, you know. So while this was all going on, you know, I thought, okay, I'll make it a small step. So I go down in my financial goal because my desire is a financial goal. So then I listened to this, I said, bugger this, and I went up again. So I'm just going to really push it because this is actually what I want. And when I wrote it down, I thought, now come, let's just be easy on myself, you know, and give myself a little bit more. But you know what, Diane, I'm super inspired. And I know we're co-hosting a mastermind, which is part of my plan to push that and bring more people in the vault. So I'm going to stick with my original plan. I'm going to do it by December. And not by end of January. Finished, blah, done, committed.
Fantastic, beautiful. I love this. This is what it's about. Love it.
Did you want me to share mine again, Martin, or is what's enough?
No, not at all, Lisa. Yours was fantastic. I'd love for you to share. But I also just want to touch on that. Kate brought up a really good point before on the previous call around a lot of us, especially, and bearing in mind, we're using this as the foundation to build upon. And in here, Napoleon speaks about the leads with money and so on. That whatever the desire is for us as individuals is our desire, and that's fine. And wherever we are triggered, there are areas that we are to look at and work on. So, one thing that I did forget to share was I started with it and I got pulled away by the Celestine prophecy story. But I woke up one morning and something said to me, "You've got a money block." And my head went, "No, you haven't." And my heart went, "Yes, you have." And I was like, "Okay, I'm listening." And it was as if I just decided to let go of every cell in my body, the billions of cells. I just decided to let go of them. And I was taken over to my bookshelf. Now, I'm not a big reader, as I shared on the previous call, but I reached out and I grabbed this book. And this book was Train Your Brain to Get Rich. Not sure who the authors were, but it was written by an economist, a psychologist, and somebody else. And I straight away went, "Oh, this is going to be heavy reading." I wasn't a big reader. And I started reading it. Now, I'm a visual learner. So when they're talking about areas of the brain, I'm trying to figure out where they're talking about. And there's no images, there's no drawings. And I'm trying to go, okay, well, is it here and there? And Google, what's the brain look like in these areas, to try and understand, get some level of understanding. But what I noticed was that as soon as I started reading it, and once again, I couldn't put it down. I was 20 pages in, just could not put this book down. I actually started to get sales in my business in other areas by other means, like that I wasn't even doing anything in those areas. They just people reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, I want to be in your business. I want to be in your team." And I was like, "Hang on a minute. How is?" And it was right back to the book. I had then got asked by the company that I'm a distributor for they basically brought me over to Sydney to do a talk to the leaders and do the business presentation. I'd never done the business presentation before. I'd only ever done the health side of it. That they said, and I said, "I don't do the business side. I'm not doing that. I'll do the product side." And they said, "No, you're doing the business. We want you here." Once again, I turned around and said, "I am either going to accept this gift from the universe or I'm going to turn it away." All these doors started opening for me around these areas when I realized that even though my head said no, my heart said yes. And through doing this, it's been able to financially fund what we're doing now. The lifestyle we're living with, the van, I needed a brand new laptop. It's all these things that help me, because without them, I might not have been able to be on this call. I wouldn't have been able to be traveling where I am. So I'm not saying that your desires have to be focused around money, but please know that the value, and remember, money only flows in where there's service provided, where there's value. So the reason why Noble Goldman, I'm paid from Noble Goldman, is because of helping you all and everybody else that I'm able to help and invite to the platform. That's the only reason why money comes in, because I choose to give value. So don't focus too much on the money side of it necessarily. Focus on, be very clear, because the money's ready to come in. The money's listening to any calls. But remember what Napoleon said, be precise and exact in what you're going to give in order to receive. Be precise. So without that, with following on from that and talk about being precise, get ready to have your socks blown off for those of you who are lying down. Go for it, Lisa.
Thank you. So step one, I had, like you earlier on, I had a 12-month financial project, which was 144,000. I scaled it back for the end of the year, so it was 44,000 by the 31st of December. And in exchange for the 44 to December and the 144 until July next year, I will host 3 to 4 weekly sessions in the vault. I will host 2 weekly sessions, 2 weekly biz masterminds for my support partners. This is my elite group of builders. Co-host 2 weekly masterminds for team leaders, co-host 2 weekly masterminds for free members. Run 2, it'll probably be one for this year, but then one next year. TIR group programs with a discount for NG members. Probably two one-to-one coaching packages at the moment. I will support the NG community and support the YDS community. Step 3, I intend to possess 144,000 by 10th of June next year and 44 by the 31st of December this year. My definite plan is in 30-day segments based on Russ's programming and training project, and it's a really good way to get started and to get clear on everything. So the first 30-day plan is to create a marketing plan, refine my success partner criteria, the people I want to work with on a high level. And my daily action options are 30 minutes of refining automated systems, 30 minutes on program creation, 30 minutes on connecting, 30 minutes on follow-ups, 30 minutes on social media posts. So it'll be 2 or more of those every day. And then just step 5, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have earned 144,000 by the 10th of July 2022. And that I am hosting 3 or 4 weekly sessions in the NG Vault, hosting 2 weekly sessions, blah, blah, you've already got that. Okay.
Great share, Lisa. Thank you. So it's all right, Kate. Please, Kate, know that it's absolutely fine. You're here with us and we're all grateful for that. So don't worry about it being a big day. And great to see Azure as well joining us. So hello.
Hi everyone. Apologies for being late. I missed the first 15 minutes. Sorry.
That's okay. We're sharing our desires going around the group who's ready to share. But I am curious to know if and what we're going to do is the first half we'll be sharing to give some level of inspiration. So we've got another 11 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. But then the second half, I really want to dive deeper in regards to helping people who are unsure of what to do and how we can work through that and get some level of clarity. Okay, so is there anybody else who's created their desire and would like to share? Okay, yes, Natasha.
Hello. So I've created mine, but to the end of the year, that changes everything for me. And so I've just kind of adjusted it. So I want, and I think that's much more smart, but I was trying to be open when I wrote mine. And so it's my main goal that I've been reading every morning. I have it on my bathroom mirror. I say it in meditation. It feels true. You know, when I wrote it, it seemed ridiculous, but it feels true now. But now I'm like, how do I rewrite this to be a little bit more clear for this year? And because for me, I was like, well, whenever it happens, it's good. But I'm feeling the sense of urgency to have it now, like September, because things have really changed and shifted for me. So I'm going to read you the goal that I've been reading every morning, and then I'll adjust. I am so happy and grateful now that I live my life with ease. I have free time for creating art. My life feels so balanced and organized. I have deep, conscious, and fulfilling relationships. I am healthy, happy, and fit. It feels so nice to travel all over the world and live part-time in a warm climate. I love that I'm a mindset leader, an educational change maker, and it feels wonderful to share my gifts as an intuitive and master sound healer with others. I love my school, my geodesic sound healing dome, and my educational wellness center. People come to visit from all over the world. And since I've created this, I can see the place, and things have started rolling with this. But it's a really big goal. Like, I'm creating this center and I'm not really sure actually, it's not a retreat. I think it's a healing center. Maybe it's a sustainable community, but I see it clearly, whatever it is, but I'm not sure the timing on it. But I know it's coming. It's been coming for years, but I only knew that it was coming this year. So for this year, And I'm going back to some things that I've been thinking about is like to do this, I will triple my income for this year so that I can get started. And but I didn't know, and maybe some others here will can give me some advice on this. Like, should I write a number down, like an exact number? Because Napoleon Hill kind of suggests that, but or should it be like the number or more? Because then I'm limiting myself.
Yeah, great questions. Before Lisa touched on this on the other call on it, but before we dive into that, I just want to be clear. What was the desire? Because
Well,
you said you were grateful and the things, but I didn't quite know what the desire
yeah,
was to achieve.
yeah. So like just as we've been talking, I've been making some notes. So my desires. So to triple my income so I can create the things that I need to create this year. I want to have I will have I do have evergreen income to continue to work part-time but not time for money anymore. To have I'm creating these cards, they're breathwork cards for children. My mind and body programs, um, I would like them to be evergreen and to create and collaborate with more people, like people that I'm meeting on here, and create more programs so that I'm giving and helping on a day-to-day basis. I I want to finish doing my mindset coaching. I've been doing this for 10 years, but I've decided that I want to have a certifications, which I've started to do, and to start coaching clients more one on one, which is something that I never thought I would do. I do it naturally in my work, but now I'm thinking I want to do it more in my life on a weekly basis. I'd like to be a leader and more successful in Noble Goldman and be part of this community. I love it here so much. I've been a little MIA the last couple of weeks. I've had computer issues, but just seeing some of your faces this morning, I know this is where I'm supposed to be, and I really want to help contribute because I could see how this can change the world, and I want to be part of that. And this year, well, January, I want to go live in Costa Rica for a few months. And I redid my life so that I could do that every year. Um, and I didn't know, right now, I'm like, I'm not sure if I can even leave the country because we have very strict rules. And, well, I'm not going to even go there, but I want to go there and live there. And part of my dream is to connect the center here in my community to a place that's warm and have two centers that are moving. So I need to go and just let go. And today's the first day of my holidays for a couple months. So, but these holidays for me are more going to be work in this kind of work because like this is my work. But I also am a person that I work too much sometimes, so I need to like just like unplug and do nothing. So I want that for my January, February time.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing this, Natasha. So that makes more sense now. So when we look at what Natasha said there around tripling her income, it wasn't to triple her income to then go, whoa, look at me, I've tripled my income. It's because of what she wants to use the money and leverage the money for. So remember, and we always say this, it's an energy, and that energy creates another energy. It's flowing in for a purpose. And when we're clear on what that purpose is, it's going to be utilized effectively, and therefore it comes in. So the money, in all fairness, and you can tell me, Natasha, and I encourage you to do so, tell me if I'm way off, but the money is not the driver for you. The value of contribution and serving and giving and creating all these things is what's the driver for you. The money will organically come in. And what I encourage when Natasha said there around having some like time to do the things that she enjoys for herself, but aside of what she does professionally. I'd encourage to incorporate that into the abundance game for your goals. So my goals are watch a sunset a week, watch a sunrise a week, spend time in nature, go 4-wheel driving, spend time with Beth, chill out watching a movie. These are my goals because they help me be who I am. So it isn't just focused on business. It's all about, hey, Martin, a goal for me is, do you know what? Bloody hell, the sun's going down. Drop everything, get out there and enjoy it, because it's part of what illuminates me. No pun intended. It's what illuminates me. And that illumination is what then I bring to the calls. That energy rise is what I bring to the calls. Because we can't, as we know, we can't give from a cup that's empty. So don't, I did a training called self-ranking, and it was specifically around the company. It wasn't, well, to be fair, it wasn't specific about the company. It was about you self-ranking, but I did it aside to the company that I distribute for, to help the distributors become aware of, stop putting all your focus and energy on your business because you're strangling it and you are not serving yourself. Detach from it. Do the things that align with your core values, because that vibration, if you want to attract a higher level of success, your vibration has to be up there to attract what you want to attract. Can't be down here. This and this is missing. That's why it's so important to get clear and then be vibrating at that level. Natasha, we'll come back to Mastermind in a bit more on that. Sorry.
That's really great advice. I am pretty good with self-care, but I would like a little bit more. And in regards to money, I've never been focused on money. I really let that go. But over the last year, I changed, and now I'm like, I need money. And so I'm not sure how much focus to go there, because I've always trusted and been supported my entire, like, things magically always just arrive. But now I have more of this sense of urgency. So I'm trying to push it a little bit more.
Lisa's coming in here. She's about to spit all over the screen, so we're about to get a dinner. Yep.
I'm eating nuts, you're right. Natasha, the one thing that I would recommend is that you focus on what the money is going to do for you rather than the money itself.
And I have been.
Yeah.
Like I see it, I feel it. I'm very I can see how the people, but I don't see the time. Like when you put the date this year, do I need to visualize like September? And how do you visualize September? I guess the leaves or and sometimes the universe. Go ahead.
Sorry. So you would like the whole center in whichever South American country it was you're going to by September? Was that the goal?
Well, I need to be more financially independent by September.
Okay.
So that I can
focus.
shift my work.
So that will just be one step. So put your focus on that, which will automatically lead you to the next step. So you don't need to know. It's like my cruise ship. I have no idea when that's coming in. I really have no idea. I just know that everything I'm doing is moving me closer to it.
Yeah, I know.
Time I don't need.
Unless maybe I'm having too much control over like dates. But I just feel like that's what has to happen. And
The one thing that, okay, so you mentioned earlier, Natasha, and first of all, before we go into this, is everybody happy on this call that we just continue this around where Natasha's at? Is everyone cool with that? If anybody wants to definitely dive into something, please let us know. But I just want to touch on this with Natasha. So Natasha, you've been very clear that you need to triple your income. Okay. So you know what that figure is. You don't need to share it on this call, but you know what that figure is because you said I need to triple it. So the next thing is what are you going to give in order to receive that money? Okay, because once the money comes in, you're able to do the things that you want to do and create, correct? You can speak doing some things now, but for the grander vision, you know, like Corey shared on a call, he wants to buy land to do his retreats and so on. That means he's clear on, I need this amount of money to buy this land to be able to do what I want to do. So when we say reverse engineering, to give you an example of this is exactly what I did reverse engineering with NG. So bear with me a minute while I pull out all these pieces of paper because I was pulling them out and doing it. So what we did was we went through how many people. So to achieve the figure that I was looking at, which the figure I was looking at, crikey, there's that many numbers. I didn't even realize we'd written this many numbers down. I'm like an accountant. I tell you what, Veronica be interested. The organization's poor, but so the figure that we were looking at was $197,770.12. That was the figure that we borrowed as capital. Okay, so and it's really interesting that that's happened because my business partner and I'm my best friend, and he's in England, so we're not actually working. Diane knows him well. We actually had spent well over $250,000 on something that didn't work. Okay, we were building something and it didn't work, and there was other factors aside of that, but I never chose through any part of that to get bitter. Never chose for it to disempower me. What I've realized only in the last few days is that I needed to lose that and find out where I sat around that in order to grow to the next phase. Because what I'm now talking about is far beyond where I've ever been in believing and mentally able to process this. So $197,770.12. Where am I going to find that money in the next 5 months? So I start looking at what do I do? What do I offer? So I've got my water company, I've got my NG business, and I've got a few other things, but I'm focused on what serves me, what fills my cup. And that is my water business and NG. Okay. NG is probably, I'm going to say 75% more. And the reason for that is because it serves me in a grander scale than just one area of my life. So what I then did was I broke that down and said, right, well, if I need to hit that figure, how many people do I need to enroll into Noble Goldman as Vault members? Okay, that figure came back at 2,400 people. So I need to have enrolled 2,400 people. No, sorry, it was actually more than that. It was 3,956, I think. I need, 3,956 people. Which then, what I did was, I reverse engineered it again. So if I need 3,956 over 5 months, that is 792 people per month, which once again, those numbers are pretty high and you start, twitching a bit. So then you divide that by 4 weeks, which comes down to 198 people per week. Then I reverse engineered it over 7 days, which comes down to 29 people per day I need to be enrolling into the vault. If I enroll 29 people per day over 5 months into the vault, then I will hit that figure of $197,770.12. Now, here's where it's really empowering. That figure pays off my borrowed capital. I now have 3,956 members in NG, which is now paying me just from a, oh crikey, I haven't even got that number, but put it this way, it's something like $150,000 in the month of January 2022. Just in that month. That's, if you calculate that up over 12 months, that's just single tier vault members, 29 people a day. Over the year, that's over $1 million in the year. But the only way that money is, and those members are going to stay or more members are going to come in, is if I'm clear as to where the money is going to go that's of importance to the growth that I'm here to make in the world. Otherwise, the money doesn't want to remain stagnant, because do you know what? Other people are calling for that money. And like Bob Proctor says, money can hear you. And even Napoleon says, money can hear. It can't talk, but it can hear, and it goes where it's being called. And unless I'm clear as to where it's going to go to serve my grander vision and desire, it's just going to flutter away. A mentor of mine said, success is only rented. And you know what? I watched him lose fortune because he made investments that didn't work out for him. And in all fairness, they were really dodgy investments. So it's that thing of, start looking at, when you're clear on that, look at what you provide of value that you can monetize, and then go, okay, well, how many people do I need to help? I'm not looking at these figures and going, and we've changed them around because it's actually worked out that we realize we can earn money in another area. So I reduced the amount of Vault members to 2,400, which is 14 people per day. And that still brings in $120,000 for the 5 months. And then the 6 month, remember, there's 2,400 people in. Bearing in mind, if they all bring in 2, so their membership's paid for, that figure jumps significantly to 72,000 on top of the 120. And if those 2, because of the 3-tier commission, and I hope I'm not losing anybody, but I may be, the 3rd tier, I earn 96,000, which means total for the month is $288,000. Now, when we've been looking at the vault, I've not even been seeing the financial potential of it, because I've not been focused what I'm going to leverage the money to do. Does that make sense? The money's not been a focus because I've not been figuring out where I'm going to go with that money. I don't want to be the richest man in the graveyard. I don't want to be on this call going, hey guys, I earned $200,000 this month. What are you doing in your business? That isn't my energy, and it's never what I do. But I want to be able to say, hey, look at all these people that I've been able to help receive value, and they're sharing their value, and they're enjoying the value from all of you. They're personally growing. I've been able to help contribute, and what they're choosing to do is helping the next phase, the next desire of what I'm doing. Does this make sense? Is there anybody who's Antje? Sasha.
I want to hear that plan of how you're enrolling 14, was it now 14 people a day into the vault? I want to hear that plan, because when you talk like this, I know it's possible, you know, but that by the end of the year, I just go, what? You know, and my consciousness limiting belief system go, impossible.
For me or for you?
For me, of course.
Okay.
But then, you know, the other voice says, if he can do it, I can do it. So please share the plan. If I do a quarter of that, I'll be happy.
So this is where, as I said, about breaking it down, because what these figures all over this piece of paper, what seems like absolute mess, what these figures indicate is they keep opening new doors. And exactly what you said there, Antje. The question then came, where do I find these 14 people? Now, I know that I've got people in my network that I can connect with, but then I start looking, okay, well, I need to create a strategy that I'm able to follow, because bearing in mind, everybody, as well, we are only on average getting signal 2 days a week. That means that those 2 days a week need to be extremely productive, which then means the time that we're online, I can't be like this scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. I can't be doing things that aren't truly aligned with the action I need to take to achieve the desire. So I need to then start really breaking it down. Where is my time being spent? How effective am I? How can I find new people? Do I need to start running paid adverts? Because at the end of the day, a paid advert on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube is running 24/7 for me while I'm sleeping. whilst I haven't got any signal. So all of a sudden, I am able to start looking at ways to leverage. Now, I haven't got the strategy right now. I literally only created my desire this afternoon, as in fact, finished it after tweaking it 3 days in a row. But now I'm at a point where I've got the numbers clear and I go, right, now the next step. And that's why it's just a process of, okay, this is the next part. Now, how am I, based on what I know, how can I achieve that? And I'm already, and I'll give you another thing that I'm looking at doing. And I'm bearing in mind that every person I connect with, they're not going to really know me, most people, which then means that I'm going to have to build some level of trust. I'm going to have to be very clear in my communication. So I'm already in the process of, I need to create a message for Facebook. I need to create an email for anyone I'm going to email. I'm looking at YouTube. So anyone who, for instance, is on Think and Grow Rich, as in they've posted a video, I'm looking at the comments then. I'm not doing it right now. I shared this last week. I'm not doing it right now, but this is the way I'm thinking. How can I connect with more people who are aligned? And I can reach out and say, hey, I'm working on something. Are you open to collaboration around personal growth? Something like that. I'm just throwing that out there. And they'll either say yes or no. And we just start a conversation. Does this make sense? That's how I'll find. But I also know that it's possibly going to take me 100 people to find 14 that'll become Vault members. But is that because the way that I explain it or my communication is not good enough? Sorry, Carly.
I'm just feeling into what you're saying, and it comes back to believing. Like, you want those things, you've written it down, you know what you want, you're getting to the point of a full ownership of it in your mind, body, energy field. But to do so, you need to believe that that's possible.
Yeah.
And in the believing, like, we're here mastering, believing in all that is, all the limitless potential. And in what you're doing, you're stating to the universe by writing it, speaking it here, that you believe it's possible. And then from there, you're working your way into full embodied knowing it's possible. And like Lisa's saying, it's putting it into momentum by even stating it is an action. A flow is already affected by that. Everything creates the energetic expansion as you go along, even just showing up for this. And so even us in here that may not have commented yet, we're part of that energetic momentum by being here. We're part of that expansion. We're subtly expanding while listening. So don't feel like just by not sharing, you're not there yet, because you're there by even being here today. That is part of the participation of expansion, by being a part of it, by being here right now. And then with Martin expressing his limitless potential of what he thinks is possible for him, even if it's only a mind concept to start with, he's speaking it into existence through his embodied belief.
Beautiful shared, Carl. And that's, like Lisa just shared, the 2% of the number reached are usually the people, the amount that sign up. Therefore, if that's the number that's known across the board, you then clear, okay, well, if 2% sign up and I need 14 per day, then I need to be looking at, what is it, 140 people I need to contact? Is that what I'm need? Something like that. So it's, am I right? I can't. I'm not that good at. No, it's more than that, I think. But you start to know, okay, well, if they're the numbers, I just need to get out there and communicate and touch base. Because if I'm not, I'm never going to achieve that target. But I also know that there's going to be days where 1 joins, 10 join, no join, 50 join. It's going to be up and down. But the focus is pick the number and go for it. Yes, Antje.
Have you factored in the team that you already have? because that's why I say I offer to build your second tier, you know, because let's face it, let's really move from the me from our personal goals, from the me into the we and into the us. We are masterminding here. All right. Every single one here has factored Noble Goldman as part of their financial growth. And from the people that have shared, we all have financial increase and expansion as a growth. So I think we all are going to relook at our numbers, okay, so that we really leverage the power of the 3 tiers. For example, if I build your second tier, you know, I build my first tier and I reach my goal, you reach your goal without reaching out to 144 people or whatever the numbers is, you know, numbers go out here. So I think this is the next step actually for this mastermind and for this group to actually collaborate and bring our me goals and see who needs to do what and work out. And I think now we need a numbers person, Veronica, to actually see. Let's take Martin, for example, to actually work out how many, okay, all right, how many of his first tier and second tier need to do what numbers to reach Martin's goal, because when Martin reaches his goal, then I'm most likely going to reach my goal or exceed my goal and the people underneath me too. So this blows my brain, my math brain. All right, I probably can figure it out by next week. But is anybody in the group that can actually work this out? That if Martin has got like 10 people or whatever on the second tier that bring whatever people, double it together for him. Okay, that's cool. I'm part of that. I'd just like
to jump in with that, Antje, because in my statement that I've created that I haven't read out, I actually say that my role is to support my team members. So whilst I'm going through this process, what I actually did, and the reason why I went down the tiers, was the simple fact of I want to help them find at least 2 people so that their $100 every month is paid back. So it's they don't have a membership necessarily to pay for. I know it comes out, but it can come out of their wallet. But going back even further, and you know, some of you may agree, some of you may not agree. This is me taking ownership for my desire and not putting it in the hands of anybody else. Because if I don't achieve those numbers, I don't want to be turning around and go, but Carly, you didn't do your work and that's why I didn't achieve my desire. Not that I ever would, but it's that thing of, do I have the confidence and belief in myself to step up, to earn and do what I need? And that's why it said a minimum of that amount, because I know for a fact that the value that I provide and the contribution is in being supportive is going to ensure that those 3 tiers receive within the first month 2 free members or 2 members, so that they don't have to pay again for their membership. That's the intention. So I'm looking at this. How can I create that message? How can I create an email? How can I create a system to ensure within a month, those 4 weeks, they don't have to pay another $100? That's where it grows. But I'm still going to be focused on connection, enrolling, because as I shared on another call, your desired success, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to any of the other communities in the group. Your desired success is going to be the most powerful community within Noble Goldman because of the people in it, the value we provide, and the vibration that's there. We are naturally, organically going to be overflowing, and people are going to be attracted to what we do. That isn't that we're any better than anybody else, but we're going to be the most powerful community in there. And with that kind of thinking and that belief, that's why I want to connect with as many people as I can. I want to build an incredible community, far greater than we could have possibly, for some of us, ever imagined. And that's why I've created it as my own desire. But I have at no point along the journey, and I know you're not accusing me of this, but at no point along the journey have I forgotten about those members. like Russ says, make sure you're there supporting them. So I already have some vault members right now in the vault. So they're a part of my front line. So I'm naturally got to be looking at, how can I serve you? How can I help you build your teams? But at the same time, I have no control of whether any of them choose to communicate about the vault with anybody else. I only have control over whether I do. Does that make sense? Not just to Antje, but for everyone. And I know, Satya, you wanted to share.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about what you said. You said like your $250,000, I think, per month you will earn later from January on. And you said you have to have a sort of purpose for that. How do you have to formulate that? Because I have an amount in my head and I want to do good with it, but do you have to specify what you're going to do with the money?
I don't believe, and you know, anybody can chime in here. I don't believe that you have to say this money's going to come in and tomorrow it's going to go, but it needs to be clear on where it's going to go to. So, for instance, when Beth and I sat down, we said, well, with this amount here, we'll have paid off what we borrowed. Therefore, at the end of January 2022, we'll have whatever the figure was in the bank account. I don't know, 120 grand, or with the tiers, you know, 280 or whatever it was. Then we were like, okay, well, maybe we're going to upgrade the caravan and get something bigger that's more comfortable, that's saving us based on what we're doing, and it's kind of rewarding us, but it's also helping us continue on the lifestyle. Which the reason why I'm vibrating at the vibration that I'm at, or the level that I'm at, is because I'm not sat in my office at home. I'm doing what I'm loving and I'm enjoying. So therefore, I'm a better person in giving more. So we're looking at how can this go? You know, and that we give 10% of every dollar that we earn to charity, a charity we choose. So it's constantly looking at, well, if I earn $280,000, 28 grand is going to a charity. You see the power of this when you start looking at it? It's not just all sat there for me to be Scrooge McDuck and scaling down. Some of you will remember Scrooge McDuck, to be scaling down all his gold coins in his bank account. It's about what is it going to do? I'm going to be able to look at that and go, hey, I want to invest in something else, or I want to help create. You know, like Natasha there with what she wants to create. I might be able to turn around to somebody like Natasha or Corey, one of these things, and say, I'd like to be a part of this, and here's an investment of 50 grand.
But do you have to write that in your sorry, I thought you were ready.
If it aligns with you, if it aligns with you, you can write whatever you want, but this is where it's key. And Lisa spoke about this before. It has to feel right for you. It has to be a desire that you want to create. So when Corey said, I want land to be able to do my retreats and so on, he didn't know where the land was and he didn't know how he was going to find it. But a guy heard about what he was doing and said, I've got this land and I would love to offer it you. Wow. Great. The best desire is to have an animal sanctuary. Now, we already know where the land is because Beth's parents are wanting to sell that land. We know it's $600,000. We know exactly where it is. We can see it all there. So we now know that, hey, this time next year, we can afford to buy that land to start the animal sanctuary.
Perfect. Yeah.
You see how you start to, all these desires and these goals, and you start to go, well, where would we find the 600 grand based on we need to pay off what we've borrowed? It's right in front of us. When we're clear on the desire and we start reverse engineering it, we're able to see that it's here. That's what I'm saying to everyone. I'm not saying Noble Goldman's the only means for earning by any way, shape, or form. But when we look at the potential of what we can do to receive financially by helping people receive the value in Noble Goldman, remember, that's where it is. That's the only reason why we get paid like we will, because we're helping others grow and succeed. Then we're able to go and achieve those desires. Okay. So I kind of feel like I just went off on a spiel there. And I don't know whether I did, and I apologize if I did, but because there seems to be quite a bit of chat there. But is there anything that I don't know if any of that helped you, Natasha, or anybody else? I mean, please, the floor is yours, ladies, to share and contribute.
I just want to say, did you notice, Martin, that you manifested the creative power of every woman on here? There's no men, and our women creative power center is what receives the desire, like the energetic field of the creative womb or the power center of the yin is all about receiving, 100% receiving.
Ooh la la.
Can I just add there, because we've talked about some big goals that people have got, and some of us may not have such big goals. So when it comes to sorting through how much money and stuff like that, but so for me, it's my biggest reason for doing what I want, for getting out of the 9 to 5 and doing what I'm doing is, one, to show my children that they can have the choice to be able to be at home with their kids, that they don't have to go down the traditional route. That's always a big contentious thing between their father and myself, who has those beliefs that, if you're smart enough, you should go out and you should achieve those things. And he's liked having the wife that goes to work and everything else. But I'm someone who wants my kids to live life on their terms. I didn't get that goal. I want to be there for my grandkids because I wasn't able to be there. I was working full time, which I don't have a problem with, because it has given me so much more in life than what I probably would have if I hadn't have done what I've done. So, I don't have those regrets, but I have these desires now. I have my mum now living on her own in a Homes West home. I would love to be able to have bought a house for her, to have her own home, to do what she wants, her own driveway, not have to worry about other neighbours in the complex, have her close to me. Just having that time freedom to be able to, which is what I've experienced these holidays, balancing that, okay, I've got all these things to do, but giving time to myself, being able to see my mum through the day when I want to, so that I'm home for my family in the afternoons. So, for me, that's my end result, to not have to rely on my pension at the end, that I've got a flow of money that's coming in, but it's in a way where I'm giving back to people. I'm helping people move forward. I'm helping them make the changes in whatever fashion that is. And I expect it to grow bigger than what I know it, what I can put a lid on it at the moment, as I experience new things in life. So for me, it's not always about, having, and I mean, I will give to charity and stuff, but I don't have this big plan of having a centre somewhere or anything like that. That may come, who knows? But my core, where I'm sitting at the moment, is just to show my kids that they can have what they want. I can have what I want, in that freedom to do what I want when I want, and giving me that time to be able to help more people than what I can do in my day job. I do help them, but I don't get paid for that. But that's okay. They've been my learning curve. They've been my reason for doing what I'm doing now.
Powerful why that'll keep you moving forward. Yes, Lisa. Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, very powerful why. You've got a couple of very powerful whys in there, Diane. And for me, what is important isn't the size of the why, it's the depth of the why. And yours is very deep. A lot of us have a big why without the depth, and we're far less likely to be successful. The other thing that you touched on there, Diane, is that may come, and that is an automatic thing. It's not necessarily going to be a center or whatever, but we naturally grow. We need to grow. We want to grow. That's our humanness. We're for expansion, as Kali said earlier on. And as you get to that point, before you get there, you will start to think about what else you want to do. I started off with the cruise ship. I started off with the movie. Then we had games, which is smaller than the movie. But then I had a bloody cruise ship. Now, there's no way I would have started with that. Yeah. So it's starting with what resonates with you, because if it doesn't resonate with you, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. Your why is most important. It's not the size of your why, it's the depth, the power of your why. So Diane, you're on the right track. Absolutely on the right track.
So ladies, with that, and I know I said about the second half, we'd go in a bit deeper around stuff, but obviously the conversation always flows the way it's supposed to. Has anybody got any uncertainty? Because the idea of what tonight, remember we had the call at 5:30 till 7, and then we came on this call 7, and I was happy for this to go for 90 minutes as well. The idea of is to help us start moving forward. We're either getting clear on our desire, or we're certainly working on it, and we're committed to completing it. Not that it's the exact desire as in it's perfect and we don't need to think of anything else. It's a starting point towards achievement of what we want to achieve. That's all it is. And as I said earlier on, it doesn't matter how grand it is, you know, it's not looking at Lisa's or mine or anybody else's and saying, oh, well, theirs is too far away, it's too hard, I should be doing that, and I don't see that. No, you know, even if it's in some area of fitness, or, and I believe, Natasha, you've just completed something, congratulations, I saw some very good abs there. So it's whatever it is for you. We've naturally, some of us have brought it in to the money side, but notice once the money's the icing on the cake. But the icing collapses when there's no actual cake inside. And that's why we're focused on what is all the layers made up of? What do we need to go through to work through all of that? And I invite you and encourage you to maybe, like I'll post this recording into the group, to go and watch it, watch the other call, pick up on the information and how it's been explained. Go and read that chapter 2 around desire from Napoleon. Ask questions, jump on the other calls. The idea of what we've created today, remember, this is the starting point. Desire is the starting point to all achievement. So what we've created today is the first step, because next week we'll be diving deeper around this and finding out, you know, some of you will have gone through and you'll have got clear on your desire. I'm going to work on mine again. And we'll be able to bring it through and then go, okay, well, this is, some of you will bring your new desires in. Some of you will have reverse engineered it deeper and got clearer on it. And that's what's going to help those people who may be just a step behind, see and go, oh, that makes sense now. And be moving forward continuously. What would that look like? I learned that collaboration and working together is so much fun. Absolutely. So
Got a
ladies,
question.
go,
Is
yeah.
Is there still time for a question? Because I need to run off as well. I've got another call just now. But with clarity, what would help me is the clarity about the plan, and the clarity about the plan with the leverage. Because I'm not used to work in such a powerful team, you know. I'm more used to always work by myself, kind of thing, you know. So really down to the nitty gritty, what is the best to leverage that? And I think once the YDS community comes in, you know, I think that will be a little bit easier. But I personally, I'm not exactly 100% clear of how to best use the tools and leverage, other than Russ's call on a Tuesday, you know, really the power of the community and the power of my team. So if we can expand on that, on really the nitty gritty in the next couple of weeks, I think that would be great beneficial, because then we start really working together as a team. That's would be my request.
That's cool with me. Is that cool with everybody else? Yep. Okay, we can look at doing that. That's fine. Just message me, Antje, and around that, just to remind me, because from now till then is there's a lot goes on in my world. So yeah, and we'll look at diving deeper in that and masterminding around it to support everybody. But for those of you who haven't created that desire yet, please, just whatever it is to you, look at doing it. And if money's on there, just throw a figure on. Just throw a figure. Even if it takes for the rest of the year to get the belief in there and the certainty of the plan and how it's going to work, just throw it down as to what it is, because through these calls, we will help you get the belief. We'll help you get a clear understanding and concise plan so you can start moving forward in that direction. That's what we're here for. You're not going to be left alone unless you choose to keep your hands crossed, because you can't grab our hand when your hands are crossed. Yes, Lisa.
And that's a really important part, Martin. You know, we've put the end of the year as our goal, and yet it's not about whether we achieve that goal by that date. It's that we're on the way to achieving that. You know, I can't remember, Earl Nightingale, I think, said success is progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And for many of us, this is our foundation building time. And it is building those foundations solidly enough to be able to build on top of it. So whilst it's good, and it is always good to have a timeline, otherwise everything expands to fit the time allocated. Okay, so it's really good to have a goal, but it's not about achieving that amount by that time. It's about being in the belief that you can achieve it. And that time will become more obvious. And I'm not saying you can't achieve it. Absolutely you can. What I'm saying is that sometimes we can get bogged down by the pressure we put on ourselves to achieve it by that time, particularly when we're in a group and we've told everybody, I'm going to do this by that time. It's like, and then we go into analysis paralysis. So it's not about the time. The time is to give us something to work towards. It's a signpost. It's a milestone. It is not the end goal. The end goal, believe it or not, is the beginning, which is to get the mindset so that you believe that you can achieve that. And once you've got that, everything else will happen. And everything happens. I think this is really important, Martin. I put in there earlier on about momentum. What is really important, I know I've been guilty of this so many times. Okay, well, if I need to get X amount, I need to divide that by 12 months, by 7, you know, whatever. But it doesn't work that way. You don't start off with 14 people. You might start off with 1 a day or even 2 a week. But that will build when you're putting those systems in place, when you've got that belief. And then all of a sudden you will be bringing in more than 14 a day. But over the time, it will average out at 14 a day. And I think this is a really important point, because we set this, and I've done it so many times, and that's why I know I failed. Because I've done the logical thing, I've divided it by 12, and I haven't allowed for exponential growth. And I really think this is important to look at. It's the end average. It's not about getting 14 right from the start. Yeah, it's just getting the system right that will build. Yeah. And that's why I have no doubt that Martin is going to achieve that, because, yes, absolutely, Veronica, it's the compound effect. Because that is what he's doing. He's creating the system that will allow that to exponentially grow. You know, to just go out and get 14 a day, like Andrew said, it was like, what? Because we don't have the systems in place. But if we can focus on bringing in 1 a day, or even 2 a week at the moment would be awesome. You know, that's a starting point. We can hone that and build on that. And exponentially, we will get there. Yeah. Just make sure you don't put too much pressure on yourself at the beginning, because you haven't got your 14 this week. And I know that's derailed me so many times. So yeah, absolutely, Angie. Let's get focusing on systems in place. And hallelujah to Martin and Beth, who are the systems king and queen.
Hallelujah to Beth. And
I know that's going to help all of us, because for many of us, Martin, that is not where our strength is. And so to have that backup is amazing.
And please know, everybody, that whatever I work on and create, I'm naturally going to gift it to you all and support you as best I can, and you can change it around to suit you. But a lot of what I do right now is trial and error. Is that working? How is it working? What's the response from that? And I have no problem in messaging somebody very direct, very abruptly, not rude, but very to the point, and them not getting back to me. I have no issue with that because it's totally about trial and error. How is this being responded to? How is this feeling? How do I feel when I send that? How would I feel if I received that? So, and then remember that the whole focus, and this is why we spent so long creating the whole new backend system for NG, is that that isn't going to be live until the end of July, probably even into August. What does that mean for us all? It means we have a period where we can get all of this stuff created, ready, and we can be getting a good feel for it, because as soon as that is released, that YDS new platform is released, that we're all a part of, we are now running forward. We are now sending a link to people, and they have a clear understanding of how to get in and how to move forward in NG. This has been the biggest problem with Noble Goldman. There's been too many things and people getting confused. We've built the system that should, in all fairness, help people move through with ease. You know that's coming. Let's just say it's 3-4 weeks away. So the question now comes back to, are you willing to commit to yourself? Because it's not to any of us. If you're willing to make a commitment to yourself to get clear on what the desire is. If Noble Goldman is involved in that desire, as in whether that be financially, members in there, whatever it will be, are you prepared to start looking at what feels right for you? Who are the people you want to connect with? Who are the people you want around me? In my statement that I read out on the earlier call, I said the people I have attracted are people who are committed to their personal growth and achieving success. I don't want to be surrounded by people. I want to be surrounded by people who are committed to achieving their desired success. That's the difference of what I want, because I can easily find 2,400 people. That's half my Facebook network. Easy. But do I want to be working with them? That's a whole other thing. So being clear on who I want to attract, who I want to work with, who I want to receive value from. This isn't a numbers game. This isn't treating people as a number. This is wanting to make sure, remember what I said earlier, your desired success is going to be the most powerful community in Noble Goldman because of the value, the contribution, the energy, the vibration. That's where my focus is. And if that's where my focus is, what am I doing? I'm attracting those people to me because I'm already calling out to them, come to me. If you're of value and you align with what I'm doing, come to me. And they'll organically come. I know they will. Natasha.
Okay, where were my thoughts? I had a question. The balance. What is the perfect balance or system between our logical world, the specific numbers, the specific goals that we're writing down, and then trusting in the universe and what will come? And for me, I know I'm always looking at that balance, like where is it? Because I often live in the etheric world. But I also know that the logics, like the stats and, the science of things do help in, when we have a focus, a system to follow. Now, if we can combine those two and also trust and believe, so yes, we have, okay, I need to get 14 a day, like logistically, but then also letting that go and letting the world around us work magic on its own. So what is like the perfect way to do that? What is the perfect system? Or is there one? Maybe we can create, maybe we can create a program on that. Like there's meditations. I always go back to this. Maybe there's no meditations. Maybe there's like logistic homework to do. And then in between, we're bringing, and back then Kelly was saying about embodiment of women, but maybe we need to embody. I don't know how to do this, because it's like the stats and the logic, but then also our spiritual selves, and like putting them together to be like more holistic. And so you've let go of some of that, the worry, is it worry or must do? So we're being, then not just doing. I think I heard that somewhere this week. You always hear this being, not doing.
If I can talk to that, Natasha, the first thing that comes up to my mind is we talk about balance. Balance is hard work. It's a constant effort to try and balance anything. So my first thought is look for the harmony. If we look at nature, there are seasons when there is a lack and there are seasons when there's abundance. Okay, but when we try to get harmony, we expect this and this to match all year round. It isn't going to happen. So find the harmony between what is when we're going logistical and when we're going soul connection, and and that kind of thing. And something that might resonate, Natasha, when Martin was talking about his numbers, my first thought was, wow, those are big numbers. My second thought was, he's going to create the system that is going to allow me to do the same thing. That was my first thought. I know Martin well enough to know that whatever he does is going to be available to all of us. That is not the way my mind thinks. This is what teamwork is about. This is what brainstorming, masterminding is about. My mind does not work in the way that Martin's and Beth's do. Okay, so to put me out to do that, I'm never going to be successful, because it's like speaking Cantonese. But I know that in some way, somewhere down the track, I am going to be able to support them with as much value in a different way, because I have strengths that they don't have. So this is where the harmony comes in. And this is the power of working in a team, in a mastermind. The idea of a team is that everybody has different strengths and different weaknesses. And what is somebody else's, yes, Carly, we do. We all have unique mastery. And what is somebody else's, or what is my weakness, is somebody else's strength. That is harmony. That is working with those people, saying, you know what, this is what you're good at. This is what I'm good at. Let's work together. Rather than trying to work, because the perfect system will only work for individuals. There is no perfect system. There is a system. Each individual will create their own system, because we are so different. You cannot create one system that's going to work for everybody. If it did, we'd have done it by now. Yeah, how many of you have done this program, that program, and the other program because it's got these results and all the rest of it, and it didn't work because it wasn't aligned with us? So that harmony that I'm talking about, Natasha, is a little bit of all of it. But there will be times when we focus on the stats, because that is like, okay, that's our signpost. That's where I need to go. But then when we focus on the who we are, that embodiment, then we're focusing on getting to that signpost. Okay, that's what's just come through just as I was talking, is that the stats, the logical, the technical stuff are your signposts that you're heading in the right direction. But our embodiment is what gets us there. Does that make sense? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Did that help, Natasha? Sort of.
Yes. I was just, and this is my other thing, is how do we simplify? Because I think that's what everybody needs. And
that's coming.
When things are simple and come when they're easy, then you're in flow.
And Natasha, how do you simplify?
For me, I'm very much in the moment. I live very much in the moment, and for me, I let go of sometimes the logistics and like the logical side. But it also can work against me, when I do that, because I do need that person in my life to help me be organized and that. And I know, like, from doing all this work in the last few months, it's something that, to help me simplify, I need to be more organized in that area.
Yeah, so if you put in place some kind of structure and then you let go in the piece you just expressed, so you've got the structure, the focus, the clarity, everything, you let go, in your natural ability, you're mastered in that part of letting go, but you've already followed these principles that we've been listening to and shared, and the 6 steps, if you want to follow those, and then you let that go. Who are you surrendering it to? Are you surrendering it to trusting the universe has your back, or whatever it is for you? Like, once you've made the plan, you're basically letting it go, as in surrendering it internally to the unconditional knowing that it's already happened. But all we're doing is putting a plan in place first, so there's a bit of a structure to then let it go. That's the mastery. That's where our power is, our mastery, in the surrender.
The surrender.
Yeah, thanks, Kylie. That's very much, bringing it back to simple is that, okay, if we're going to drive from point A to point B, we just need to know which direction we're heading in. Because the chances are there's going to be diversions, there's going to be all sorts of things on the road. You don't need to know, okay, at the beginning I go here, and then I turn right, and then I turn left, I go across the roundabout, you'd never do that. We just get to the next step, and then there's another signpost that takes us to the next level. We don't need to know the whole route. We just need to know the general direction, the name of the place that we're going to, so we can look for it on the signposts.
That was my program. The last program I just created was 10 turns.
Yeah.
But even with that as well, as when we think around the GPS analogy of putting the destination in it and it bringing up the roads, there are many times where I choose a different route. And I get there in my belief quicker, and sometimes I just go, you know what, the GPS is telling me the fastest route is down the freeway, but I want to go along the coast because that's going to serve me more. So when we look at the simplifying, I believe that when we go inward, the heart creates the desire. Then we start to activate the thinking process of it and say, okay, well, with what I'm aware of, how can I create that in this physical reality that I live in? How can I create that? So I just make that 18-inch journey up to the brain and go, okay, and I look at those things but also I could earn money selling toothbrushes, but it's of no value to me to be selling toothbrushes. This stuff around drop shipping and on Amazon and all that kind of stuff, that doesn't fill my cup. Like, putting money into something that just earns money doesn't fill my cup. I need to be doing something that is connection, creating gratitude for me and new experiences. Something like those things that are cold. So I want this. So I look at the heart created the desire, and therefore the aligned action that I'm going to take and what I'm going to give is that of service to me, firstly. Because I can't be of service to anybody else if I'm not serving self first, as we all know this. It's not a cliche, it's the truth. So then from there, the angle is to go out and do what I do best. Now, when, like Lisa said, and I apologize if I get cut off because I'm not 1%, like Lisa said before, I'm finding ways to constantly provide value to the people that I'm connecting with. And I know that when I do that and I achieve that, I'm able to then gift it to everybody else. Because I don't just want to build personally the biggest team in Noble Goldman. I want Noble Goldman to be the largest community in the world. Our desire, well, Mark's vision in 7.5 years is 450 million people in here. 450 million people who are conscious to helping each other succeed in life. I want to be one of those people surrounded by 449, well, 4 million, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm in lost now, but that many numbers. But that I want to be that fish in the ocean, receiving the value from everybody. But I also know that I'm able to give value as well. That's where I want to be. And that's where the vision is. And that's why, in my opinion, when we're clear on that heart-centered desire, we're clear on the action we're going to take because of what's aligned with us, everything is going to be simple. And any challenges we face and we find them, and any confusion, if we come to these calls and we communicate it, we're able to then fix it so it's better for everybody than just us as individuals. That's what it's about. Veronica, I know you wanted to share something.
Yes, going back to what Natasha was saying, and it's kind of a challenge that I, even with my accounting background, that I struggle with, and we were talking about it before. So I set this big, huge figure that I was going to have by 30th of June next year. But when I go and crunch the numbers with my current system, that's not going to work. But it's a matter of just setting the goal and surrendering to it. But taking action every day, no matter how small it is, just taking action. And as you're taking action, what you need for the next step will reveal itself. That's my philosophy. And not to worry too much about it, because I can't remember where I got the story from, but it was about, you know, if you plant a seed, you care for it, but you don't keep digging it up to see how it's going. You have to just trust that what you're doing is actually going to make it grow.
Yeah, and that there, what Veronica said is, and I just put it in the comments, hence why we access the abundance game, to make sure the action we're taking daily is aligned. We're able to review what we've done. It's a tool to use. We don't have to use it, but it is a tool to help us. And that, for me, I need that tool. I know I need that tool. Otherwise, I'll just go off and do anything and everything. But I'm able to check in and go, was this aligned with my goals?
Can I just add to that? Now we seem to have lost Martin with what Veronica was just saying. I mean, I've had that experience this year in the fact that my goal originally that I'd set for myself was I couldn't see it happening before 5 years. And then I happened to be on a call with my coach who challenged me to see it for, you know, why does it have to take that long? So we brought it to 2 years, and you know, and I still didn't know how, you know, what I was specifically. I knew I was going to do some coaching and I knew I was going to do stuff around nutrition. But just by not controlling it and just by letting things go, we, you know, a girlfriend of mine who for 3 or 4 years now have been saying we want to do something together. Something has come up that has, out of the blue, just like that wasn't even on our radar, that we have now, in the matter of literally 2 weeks, put a company together, even with me not having internet and everything else. And, you know, we're moving forward with this company that we had no idea was even going to come our way. It's not taking me away from NG, it's just another level that's going to create some income for us. It aligns with what we're doing and what we believe in, because I've had many offers of other stuff, but like Martin said, I don't want to be just selling stuff online for the sake of selling stuff online. It's got to align with me and my beliefs and where I want to head. But yeah, you know, like, we don't know where things are going to come from. We just need to be open to receive when they do come. Yeah.
Thanks, Diane. And yes, absolutely. This is, you know, the whole thing about Think and Grow Rich and all of Bob's work is about just holding that in your heart, knowing that somehow it's going to happen, and then allowing everything else to fall into place. And yes, we do need to take action. And what I've discovered is that when we are in alignment, we take inspired action. So what I mean by that is that we, thanks, Veronica. What I mean by that is that we don't think, oh, I have to do this or I need to do that. It's like, come on, we need to get on with this. Let's go. And it's a very different energy. So when we're in alignment, when we've got that clarity and we know why we're doing it, then we really will start to take inspired action. And as Diane just said, something came up that wasn't even on their radar, but it is a perfect fit for what they want to do. So when we get into alignment, when we're clear, and this is the biggest issue, it's not being in alignment, it's being clear, crystal clear on what we want and why we want it. And the why we want it is far more important than what we want.
Yes.
Because that is the emotion that will drive you forward. Cool. All right, I'm just conscious we've gone past the time. So if anybody else has anything to say, thank you, Hazia. Hope we got something out of that. That's cool. And if anybody's got anything else they want to say, you have to unmute yourself and speak in because I can't see. I'm on my phone and I can only see four at a time. So yes, Lynette.
Lynn, yeah.
Can I just say thank you so much. That this is an area that I haven't been really good at. And it scares like the living daylights out of me to actually put a time onto a goal because then I have to action it. So yeah, I think and that's why I jumped into the GoldStar, like this mastermind, is that I think that the accountability and having people to hold you to it. I know you should really be able to do it yourself, but in the end, like, you do need people around you to really keep you on track and keep you inspired in that. So yeah, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed tonight.
That's awesome. Well done. And I think, the key there, Lynette, about needing other people is that they're the ones who see your blind spots. Yeah. Otherwise, we just keep going the way we're going, and we don't see what else is possible. And that's the value of having other people around us.
And that's so true. That's definitely true for me, Lynette, in the fact that if I hadn't have been part of this community and started this journey in November, I've always done everything on my own and I've only got so far, and it's hard to keep yourself going. Whereas, not that I've needed the accountability, just to come on these calls and feel inspired has made me take action. So it's not even really been the accountability of others saying you should do this, or or you didn't do this. It's just about taking those first steps because you feel inspired by what you've heard and by the people around you. And it doesn't matter how big or small your step is compared to someone else's. It's just, you feel, it just makes you feel so more empowered to want to take those steps. So well done for jumping on board with us, and we have your back.
Yeah, great.
Thank you so much.
And I just want to add, like, even being in here, it helps you find your why. And it's not necessarily the same of anyone else's why, but actually there'll be people in there who have something similar. But it helps you find your why because the energy expands you, and the unknown can come into the known in your intuition, like in your knowing. And it just pops in and you go, oh God, that's my why. Like, I always knew I wanted this and I wanted to do this, but my why is actually bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's actually my legacy.
Awesome.
And then once you know your bigger why, that inspires you even more to continue going, even if you don't know the steps.
Builds the momentum. Thank you, Carly. Absolutely. Okay, anybody else? Please unmute yourself and speak if you need to. Otherwise, I will end the session and see you all next week.
That was awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good evening, good afternoon. Bye.
See you, Lisa.